All right, I'm recording this. And the way Stephanie does it is she pulls up, I think she pulls up just me.
I just went in and pinned the video for you, Llewellyne, and
Yes.
I am seeing Leora.
Well, I don't see a pin on my PC.
You have to go.
The way Nancy described it is you go up to the right-hand corner of my box, so where my screen is. So you want to make sure, Edie, that you did it in my little Hollywood square box.
Oh, now I can't find you.
Okay, go to gallery view up in the right-hand corner of your entire screen.
Yeah, you have to be in gallery view to see the dots. I just found out.
So
once you're in gallery view, have you found that, Edie, where you see?
Yeah. Well, no,
Okay.
I didn't go to gallery view, but I think the picture up there that I was working on, clicking on, changed while I was working on it. So now I have pinned for you.
Okay.
And
It
I'm
does
still
change.
seeing
It's
you.
kind of interesting how it shifts around. It's a little disorienting from my point of view when I'm trying to watch everybody.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're good? All right, so good. You're on my big screen now. I can see you pretty good. So we're going to start. The best way to focus in on this core is on your backs, like Debbie is already there. But have your knees bent, please. So lay on your backs and have your knees bent. And actually, Iris, is it possible for you to be view from the side instead of straight on? I can see, I can actually see, and even in this video setting, if the camera's just right, I can see your core being activated. I've learned how to see this, or not, if it's being activated or not. Okay, so most of you are there on the floor. And so start to focus on the feeling of the floor underneath you, because this is what's going to help you connect with that core I was talking about. If you think about a tree, and you know, I'm sure all of you are familiar with the rings of the tree, like if it's been chainsawed into a log. And if you look at the rings of the tree, they get denser as they get to the center. And it's really very similar in our own bodies, kind of in a simplistic way. If you look at the outside layer of your being as a little looser, these are the functional muscles. The muscles are longer, they're made for movement. So there's more space there, longer muscles. And so just allowing your body to rest on the floor as you imagine this in your own body. Relaxing the face, relaxing the jaw, feeling the solidness of the feet on the floor. And then as you get into towards the center, the rings start to get a little tighter. And so we're getting closer to the bones, even in the thighs muscles, the calf muscles, the neck, just relating that to the trunk of a tree. And as you get even deeper in, the muscles get smaller. They become more crisscrossy, like diagonals, which is more about stability. So if you want to think more about that stable, dense way of holding yourself in that area, but still mobile. So around the neck, all along the core of the spine. and in the pelvis, and down the legs, even down the arms. You have that same, if you think of the cylindrical shape of your arms, that same outer layer's a little looser. As you get in, it gets more dense towards the bone. So within that vision, just allow any areas that are tense, like if there's knots, like the tree image. Remember, tree pose is our core climax pose for our class today. We're working towards tree, our balance pose. So the tree is our image for today, imagining that in the arms, even in the fingers, the wrists. And so then where is the, you know, we're in the springtime where the sap flows in the trees. And so you can feel that with the flow of the breath. And perhaps even if you focus even a little more deeply, you can notice where the flow may be blocked. Is there any areas where you're not feeling as much of that flow, like the sap or the circulation? There's a knot or a blockage. So if you can feel that, see if you can use your exhalation to relax there a little bit. Because wherever there's a knot or a block, it's kind of like going to a creek now. Like if there's a rock or a few rocks in the flow of the water's going to flow around it, flow around those rocks until, you know, say you're there and you pick them up and you move them off to the side, then the water can flow through that area. So you just kind of want to imagine for yourself that you're picking up those rocks in that blockage, wherever it is for you, setting them aside on the exhale, letting it go, and then allowing the flow to go through that area. Left, right, front, back, top, bottom. Good. And now take your hands, one on the lower belly and one on the upper belly. So one below the belly button, one above the belly button. And this is where we're going to get, so not on the chest, not on the chest. One below the navel, one right above the navel. And this is where we're going to get into that image of the ball there in the center. And you can probably feel your breath moving your hands. As you inhale, your hands balloon up with the breath, and as you exhale, they recede back. So just focus on that rhythm for a few breaths. The hands float up with the belly on the inhale and recede back with the belly on the exhale. So now we're going to take advantage of that drawing back on the exhale and the floor underneath your lower back to have the feeling almost of like more of a compactness in your middle. So take your normal inhale when you're ready. And as you exhale, see if you can draw the belly down towards the floor more, like your belly button's drawing downward and maybe even up a little bit towards your rib cages or your diaphragm. And then just take a normal inhalation. And then as you exhale, this is engaging the breath. This is exhaling and drawing the navel down towards the floor and having that feeling like there's a little cinch around your middle or a hug around your middle, all around your waist. And perhaps you'll feel your lower back pressing into the floor a little more deeply. A couple more times as you inhale, draw the breath in just normally. And then as you exhale, see if you can get a little bit more of a squeeze down. So now I had you put one hand on the low belly and one hand on the upper belly. And let's imagine now, lots of analogies and visualizations today, that there's a tube of toothpaste there. And as you exhale, you're squeezing the toothpaste from the bottom up. So as you exhale, you feel your lower belly squeezing down. So underneath your lower hand from the pubic bone to the navel has a little bit more of a squeeze. And then the upper hand from the navel to the sternum has a little squeeze. So see if you can get even more refined about lower belly, upper belly. When you exhale and draw the belly down, see that feeling of the squeeze of the toothpaste tube from the bottom up to the belly button and from the belly button to the sternum. Just a couple of breaths, just seeing if you can access that a little bit more on your exhale. And then it's not only where your hands are, but it's all the way around your waist, and your lower back should feel some energy there towards the floor. And how about one more breath, one more exhalation. I can see most of your bellies, and it looks like you're getting some good action there. It's a dynamic core breathing. This was what it's called, dynamic core breathing. Okay, good. And go ahead and release your hands. And then let's relax the lower back by taking the knees in towards the chest, one hand on each knee, and just remembering the inhalation, exhalation action. Inhale the knees away from the chest so the belly can rise up, make room for the belly. And then as you exhale, there's that squeezing in. Just like you did when your hands were there, lower belly, upper belly, squeezing the toothpaste. Inhale, moving the knees away on the inhale. Exhale, squeezing in. So you're still doing your dynamic core breathing, but you're using the legs for support. Inhaling the knees away and exhaling the knees in. Okay, good. And then bring the feet to the floor once you finish your last exhalation, and find your prop that you're going to put between your thighs. Your block, your ball, your box of crackers, whatever you have. And do put it in between your thighs. Okay, looks like everybody's set up. I see the box of crackers. Okay, so now the arms stay down alongside the body. And if you have any tension in your shoulders, it's actually nice to have the inner arms rolled up towards the ceiling. So if you can tuck your shoulder blades underneath and get the inner arms, inner palms open. And now take your inhale, and as you exhale, squeeze the abdomen to bring those legs in towards the chest. So you're using that abdominal energy to lift the legs. Good. Now your lower back is in super contact with the floor. It's glued there. Don't let your lower back come away from the floor. And as you inhale, take your knees away from your belly. Just a little bit. And then as you exhale, pull the knees back in. So don't take your knees so far away that your lower back comes off the floor. You're using that belly strength, that ball of energy at your belly to hold your navel down. Exhale the legs back in again, feeling that squeeze from the lower belly to the upper belly. Now I can't run around and check and see if your lower back's coming up off the floor like I usually do. So you might want to check yourself. You can take your hand and see if you're creating a little hollow underneath, or maybe you can just feel that sensation away from the floor. If you're feeling that, don't take your knees away so much. And if your lower back, Debbie, feels uncomfortable doing this, then stop, okay?
Okay.
And then go ahead and bring your feet to the floor, and you can take the block out. Were you feeling that ball, that abdominal ball there?
Llewellyne?
Yeah.
I can't tell if you can hear me. One thing that was happening with me that I could really feel is that when I would be lowering my legs and trying really hard to focus, I noticed that my shoulders would come up a little, because it's like everything's like my shoulders are trying to make my lower back stay down.
Yeah, that's a good point, Nancy, because it happens for a lot of people where you know, if the belly is a little weaker or that area is just a little weaker, then your shoulders are and your neck are gonna, and even your jaw are gonna go like, yeah, I got this. So what I noticed about you, Nancy, is actually it would be kind of nice if you had a blanket underneath your head. If you had an extra blanket around, I would put a blanket underneath your head, and that would help your head from trying so hard.
Good.
And then maybe don't take your legs as far away. Debbie, did you have something?
No,
Okay.
I wanted to see what Nancy was talking about.
Your back's okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and both feet are on the floor. Arms are still down alongside your body. Take your right knee in towards your chest. Just your right knee. Your left foot is solid on the floor. Inhale, stretch that leg up without the arms. Stretch it up. Reach up, press through the heel, open the toes. Exhale, bring the knee down in towards the chest. And then you're still using that dynamic core breathing when the knee comes in. Inhale, send that leg up, stretch up through the heel, open the toes, open the back of the knee. Exhale and bring that leg back down again. And again, lift that leg up, reach up and hold the leg there. Hold the leg up, and then as you exhale, draw the navel down towards the floor. Keep the leg lifted, keep the leg lifted. Keep your right leg lifted, stretch up through the heel, press the thigh back away from your chest a little bit so your leg opens up a little bit more. How much space can you get behind that knee as you reach up through the heel? Nice, Iris, good adjustment. Excellent. And then can you get that navel to draw down towards the floor as you keep the leg lifted? And then exhale and bring that leg down and put the foot to the floor. So even just holding up your leg for a little bit can be some effort. Let's do the other side. Left leg tucked in towards the chest and the right foot is solid on the floor. Inhale, take the heel up. Stretch. Now maybe not doesn't go to the ceiling. You want it so that you can open the back knee and stretch up through the heel. Exhale, draw that knee in towards the chest using that squeeze of the toothpaste just on your left side. Can you isolate left and right? Inhale, take that leg back up again. Reach up through the heel, open the back thigh, open the back knee. Exhale, tuck it in. And then inhale and keep that leg lifted. So you're going to just sustain that lift in the leg. Keep holding the leg there. Keep reaching that leg up. And as you exhale, shoulders relaxed, but draw the navel down towards the floor. See if you can get that abdominal squeeze so that the lower back feels drawn towards the floor. And Iris, if you can keep that leg lifted straight, unless your lower back or something is bothering you, keep stretching up through that back leg. And every exhalation here, you're drawing the navel down towards the floor and using that abdominal squeeze that we've been talking about. Make sure you notice any shoulder tension, relax the jaw. And then go ahead and release that leg back down. Okay, this is where you may or may not want to use your strap. If it was difficult for you to keep one leg lifted and sustain that, or if you have a tender low back, you may want to use your strap. If you want more of a challenge, then you can keep your arms down along your side. So it's up to you. It's a little kinder if you use the strap on sore lower backs or even tight hamstrings, honestly. And now tuck both knees in towards the chest. And Dale, you're going to take that strap around the back of your thighs. And those of you who are not using the strap, just make sure that your shoulders remain relaxed on the floor. And even those with the strap, see if you can roll the shoulders down towards the floor. And as much as you can, bring the inner knees, inner ankles together, pull the toes back towards your shins, enliven your feet. Remember, this is a strong pose. Inhale and stretch both legs up now and sustain that lift. Keep the legs lifted. And as you exhale, draw the navel down towards the floor. Draw that navel down towards the floor. And on an inhale, see if you can keep it there as you stretch up through the back legs. Exhale again, drawing that navel down towards the floor. Take another inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knees in towards your chest. And you can bring the feet to the floor to rest for a moment. Now, if you did have any tightness or soreness, like Debbie, if you don't have to stay there as long as I'm talking the pose. If you really just need to come out, then please do. But you want to have that feeling between the thighs that you're still squeezing the block. And maybe even some of you want to put the block in between the thighs. Just if you're not feeling like you're getting that activation, you may want to take the block and try it. Even with the strap behind the thighs, you can still do it. You can still have that feeling of the squeeze. Remember, the core goes all the way down the legs. All right, let's try it again. You have a little more proppage, most of you. Tuck the knees in towards the chest and keep your shoulders relaxed. Inner arms open, help with that. Relax the chest, relax the neck and the jaw. And then when you're ready, pull the toes back, open up the feet, and inhale, stretch up through the heels and sustain the lift of the legs. Reach the legs up, and as you exhale, draw the navel down. Squeeze your prop gently between the thighs as you keep the legs lifted. And when you inhale, see if you can reach up through the heels, lengthening up the legs even more. Pulling the pinky toe side down towards the floor, reaching up through the big toe side. Activating your inner core line. Good. And when you've had enough, when you feel cooked, you can just bend the knees and take your feet to the floor. If you have a couple more breaths in you, you can stay. But keep your core on. Keep that ball of energy alive. And then on your next exhale, everybody take your feet down to the floor and rest. And you can take that prop out between the thighs. Okay, does everybody have room above your head to stretch your arms? Make sure you're not going to whap into any furniture or dogs or anything like that that we have in those screens. And then bring your arms back down alongside your body. Okay. Let's just start with the right arm. On an inhale, bring that right arm up. And as you exhale, bring it back down again. So you can bring it up over your head as far over to towards the floor as you comfortably can. Doesn't have to touch the floor if that's hard for you. So let's do again. Inhale, take the right arm up. Exhale, bring it down. Good. Inhale the right arm up. And this time, as you exhale, gently roll the head to the left as the arm comes down. So the arm's coming down as the head rolls to the left. Inhale the arm up and the head is centered. And exhale the arm down, the head rolls to the left. So Nancy, your head is straight now, looking towards the ceiling. Nancy Ewart. And then as you exhale, the arm comes down and then the head turns. There, now it turns to the left as the arm comes down. Arm down, head to the left. Okay, last time. And notice what your lower back does when you lift your arms. Okay, bring your arm down to your side. Your right arm is down by your side, and then center your head. Okay, so just to review, when the arm is lifted, your gaze is towards the ceiling. When the arm comes down, your gaze shifts to away from your arm, away from your arm. So this time it's to the right. So as you inhale, take your left arm up and over and reach. Your gaze is centered to the ceiling. As you exhale, the arm comes down and your head rolls to the right. So we're getting a little into that neck core, right? So we're rolling the head.
When you arm down, I'm sorry, when you say the arm comes down, do you mean when it comes back down to your side or when it comes down behind you?
Down towards your side.
Okay, that's where I was confused. Sorry.
Okay, good. I'm glad we've cleared that up. Okay, and so also watch when you lift your arm, does your lower back come up off the floor? When you exhale, see if you can drill the navel down towards the floor. When your arm comes up again, can you keep it there? Can you keep your lower back on the floor? Good, last time. So this just loosens up the neck, loosens up the arm line, gets us ready for our standing poses. Good, and then last time, left arm comes down and your head turns, and then bring it back to center again. Okay, and then when both arms are down alongside, go ahead and roll over to your side and come up to sitting. And you might need to adjust your screen. We'll do it in stages here. I bet you're kind of used to it by now, these Zoom classes. Is everybody doing okay? Do you have a sense of that ball of energy that we just worked with, drawing it down towards the floor and squeezing it in, activating it? Because now as we go into the standing poses, you're not going to have that floor for reference, but you're going to just remember it. Remember that floor was there for you when you lifted your legs and drew the belly down towards the floor. So let's come up to standing and bring your block with you. And this time you're going to put it between the calf muscles. So there's a gentle squeeze between the calf muscles, and remember that tree analogy again, where as you squeeze the block, you're actually activating the inner core, like right around the bones of your lower leg. And from there, remember the inner arch was part of it too. See if you can draw up from the inner arch to the block or the ball. And you may notice that it helps to firm up your upper legs, firm up the outer hips, even firm up your bottom a little bit. So just by squeezing this block at the lower legs, you're getting that core activation from the inner arches all the way up to the hips. Good. Now let's do a little bit of arm movement while we hold this core. So there's, like I said, you can hold the core and then you can do things with your upper body. Let's start with the palms together. And as you inhale, open the arms without jutting the ribs or the belly forward. So you're going to keep that belly held back like the floor is there. And then that's an inhale. Then as you exhale, you're going to squeeze the elbows in towards your sides. So here you're getting even a little bit more of that core squeeze. Then as you inhale, bring your arms up, kind of like in a V shape or however high you can go. Exhale, draw the arms down and bring the palms together. So that's all on an exhale. Let's do that again. Inhale, open the arms. So a wide V, like a big W shape. Then as you exhale, squeeze the elbows in towards your ribs. Here you want to feel the lift of that inner core. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, draw down. And on the very end of your exhale, close your arms together. Okay, so here we're going to come up on your toes. So if you need to kind of scoot yourself back so you can touch a wall, or I see Joan has a railing, or maybe you have your chair close by, or if you want more support, get close to something that you can just put your hand on real quick if you start losing your balance. I don't want anyone falling. And then we're going to go back to that pattern again. And when we lift the arms, this part of the arm position is when you're going to come up on the toes. And when the arms come down like this, this is when you bring your heels back down. Okay? All right, everybody have the support you need? Excellent. Okay, and so if you need to touch a chair, like here's my chair, with one hand, then you can do the movement, like you can have your hand on your chest, open, squeeze, in, down, and close, just with one arm. So if you're hanging on to something, just use that one side. Okay, so squeeze the block with your inner calf muscles. Inhale, open up. So you feel the shoulder blades squeezing into the back. Then as you exhale, take your elbows in and get that lift and drawing in from the navel. Now as you inhale, either one arm or two arms coming up onto the tiptoes. And exhale, heels down, arms down, and at the very end, close. So if you find that you're a little wobbly with the arms up, maybe the arms don't come up so high. Okay, inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze in. Inhale, coming up on the toes. Exhale, come down. And close at the very end of your exhalation. Inhale, opening, squeeze the shoulder blades into the back without jutting the belly. Draw the belly back. And then inhale, coming up. Exhale, coming down. And squeeze. Okay. Now, some of you may want to have your support because we're going to do that whole sequence up on the toes. So coming up on the toes, inhale, open the arms. Exhale, squeeze in. Inhale, reach the arms up. You're still balancing on your toes. Exhale, take the arms down. Now the heels can come down and close the arms. Good, good balance. Go ahead and take the block out. And if you're a little more flexible today, you can take your hands on the seat. If you're a little less flexible, you can take your hands on the back of the chair or your top of your desk or wherever you are and reach back just to stretch out those calf muscles. Stretch out through your back. So pushing the hips back away from your arms. If you have a shoulder issue, go easy on the shoulders, but you can still get a stretch through your spine. Okay, now I want in that position everyone to bend the knees. So stay in your forward bend and bend your knees and see if you can get a little back bend. Reach back through your hips, get a little back bend. How much can you squeeze your lower back like the cobra and try not to use your neck? So tuck your chin a little bit, Iris. Good, you're just trying to get the squeeze of the lower back, lifting your tail, press through the heels, and now straighten the legs as much as you comfortably can. Bow your chin a little bit and stretch through the lower back a little more. Good, let's do that one more time. Bend the knees deeply. See, if you have a knee trouble, don't go too deep. Lift your tail towards the ceiling. See if you can lift your tail towards the ceiling and your chest comes towards the backrest of your chair. So you're really getting the front belly to open. Nice. Not too much though, Leora. You're very flexy there. So watch that you're not just dropping your belly. Have that ball of energy holding your safety net. Perfect. Nice adjustment. Okay. Then last time, press through the heels and stretch through those back legs. We've already got them a little bit warmed up already from our floor poses. And now inhale, lift your head and walk in towards your chair. Good. Okay, so looking at what we're doing now and the time. So let's go ahead and take the chair out in front. Actually, I'll do it this way so you can see it better. And what we're going to do, and maybe I'll just show you so you can just watch for a minute because there's a couple parts to this. We're going to take one heel back and the other foot forward, and then swivel the hips around, and the chair's like right in line. The front of the chair is pretty much close to those front toes. And then as you inhale, you're going to keep your hips forward and come into this lunge, so you're really getting length through the front body as you reach. And exhale out of the lunge. And again, trying not to poke the ribs forward. This is your inhale, so you keep these ribs and the belly in. And then as you exhale, get back into that squeezing of that ball of energy around. How many times do you lift your arms a day? And we don't want to do this. This is going to bring stress into your lower back. You want to hold that core. Okay, my heel's coming off the floor because my calf muscle's still tight from an injury. But keep an anchor on that back heel. Okay? All right. You have a question, Dale? No, he's just raising his arm. Okay, so take your left heel back and your right foot forward. And your hips are facing your chair. Hips are facing the chair. And then your left arm comes down alongside. And as you inhale, come into the lunge and swing the arm up. And you can even take your right hand onto your ribs and make sure that they're not jutting forward as you come into that lunge. And as you exhale back down again, out of the lunge, arm down. You can place your hand on your belly and see, as you inhale, make sure you're not pressing your belly forward as you come into the lunge, your warrior one pose, and exhale down. So this is getting a little more mobility in the armpit area. Inhale. So if you start to jut your front forward, maybe your arm doesn't come up as high. Exhale down. Good. And last time, inhale, come up and stay. And in this pose, you have your right hand on your belly, lower belly or upper belly, doesn't matter. You want to feel that squeezing back on your exhale. And as you inhale, see if you can lift your chest, open your chest and reach through your top arm. Exhale, draw your navel back. One more breath here. See if you can really activate that squeeze of the toothpaste tube. Exhale, squeezing in. Inhale, and as you exhale, everything comes back down. You're still facing the chair. Inhale, open your chest, hands on the hips, and bend the front knee and bring your hands onto your chair seat. Open the chest, and as you exhale, if you can come down a little farther so your hands stretch across your chair seat, but don't let your shoulders hunch. So your back heel is still grounded to the floor behind you, your hips rolled towards the chair seat. Inhale, open the chest, your front knee is still bent. You can open your chest, and as you exhale now, see if you can straighten the front leg and come even farther down into the pose, only if you can. Only if you can. Good, that looks great. Now walk the hands back to the front edge of the seat of the chair, push off the back toes and step halfway forward. The feet are next to each other, bend the knees. Inhale and swivel all the way up. Okay, we have another side to do, so take the left foot forward and the right heel back. Left foot forward, right heel back. And your left hand is going to be your indicator on your upper belly, lower ribs, whatever you feel like you're really trying to jam forward, because we usually do when we go into this little back bend. Have your hand there to keep things in check. Then exhale in this position, getting that navel to draw back. And then as you inhale, come into the reach, into the lunge and reaching up through that arm. Remember when you were on the floor, your lower back had a tendency to come up off the floor. Draw the navel back. Inhale, coming into the lunge, shoulders a little forward of the hips. Keep the crushing out of the lower back. Exhale back, down. Inhale up. Reaching from the back heel to the fingertips. You don't need to bring the arm all the way up if there's some jutting. And last time, inhale, stay in the pose. Keep reaching that arm. Exhale, draw the navel back, like the floor is there on your lower back. See, as you exhale again, if you can squeeze up from the bottom of the abdomen to the top abdomen, activating the core. And now as you exhale, take the arm down, take your hands on the hips. The front knee is still bent. And as you exhale, hinge forward at the hip crease and take your hands on your chair. So before we go even a little farther into the forward bend, you're going to make sure that front knee is bent, the hips rolled, facing the chair. And as you inhale, just like we did in the other forward bend, lift your tail, lift your chest, not your chin so much. So you get that little back bend. Can everybody get a little back bend in your lower back? So that's good to activate the lower back, a little low back squeeze. And then on your exhale, see if you can come down a little more from the hip crease. Extend the spine over the seat of the chair. Good, keep breathing. And if you want, you can straighten that front leg a little bit more, get a stretch in that front leg. And then to come out of the pose, bend the front knee, walk the hands back to the front of the chair, push off the back toes, step halfway forward, feet are in line, bend the knees, and take the hands on the hips and swivel up from the hips and straighten the knees. Okay, so before we go into our tree pose, I want to take the block between the thighs. So we've moved it up from the calf muscles, or the ball, or the box of crackers, whatever you have. Good. Okay, so now when we do tree pose, this is really important, the lift of the pelvic floor. So we're working on hips. Some of you said hips, I need my hips. Maybe they're tight, I'm not sure exactly. Hips is there's a lot of things that can happen with the hips, but this is stability for the hips. So if you can maintain stability in the hips, then they're less likely to get uncomfortable from your activities. So inhale in this position, and as you exhale, just do a little squat and open the arms, just float the arms up. Good. Now as you exhale, draw the elbows in towards your side and see if you can activate. Inhale, bring the arms up, come up to standing, and if you have your balance, you can come up on your toes. And exhale, heels down, back again into a little squat. Inhale, open the arms wide like a big W. Exhale, see if you can activate from that inner thigh to the pelvic floor, up to the belly button, up to the upper back, to the upper neck. Inhale, coming up. And exhale one last time, coming down into the squeeze of the elbows towards the ribs. Inhale, widen the arms. Exhale, this is when we really on this exhale can get that core action. Think about your tree and the dense part in the center of the tree. Good, and now keep your heels down. Just bring the arms up and exhale, take your palms in front. Now remember that feeling of the block. Take it out and let's see with all of that if we can get our tree pose. Nice and balanced. Remember, you're a tree. So if you can bring the feet together, then you're more like a trunk of a tree. If not, it's fine to have the feet a little open. This is actually a little harder of a position to stand in. So squeeze between the calf muscles. We've already done that. Imagine the block there. Squeeze between the thighs. See if you can lift the pelvic floor, draw the navel back. Then take your left leg and turn it out to the side, just so you're up on your toes. So again, remember, if your hip drops out to the side, you're not stable. Squeeze that hip in towards the center. Nice, Debbie. So then this might just be enough for you. You might just want to have a light touch of the toes on the floor, but if you want to go a little higher, you can take the bottom of the foot to the inner calf muscle. Those of you who are really feeling balanced today and want to go a little bit more, if you're familiar with this pose, your balance is right on today, you can take your foot even higher. Then take your palms together. So again, these arm movements are optional. If you're just feeling it right now, this is enough, then you can keep your hands here. But if you want a little bit more, you can spread them out to the arm shoulder level. Draw the navel back. Remember, we just did those little squats. And squeeze in your standing leg hip. Squeeze the standing leg hip in like you're squeezing on a block. If you want to go a little farther, take the arms up a little more. But remember, you want that feeling like we had when we were doing those squats. You want the navel to draw back, your lower back to feel strong, the squeezing around the waist like a hug. Then in reverse. And palms together in the front. And release the lifted leg. So it really takes some focus also with your eyes. All of you, I felt the focus there. That was great. Keeping your eyes steady. So the trunk of your tree now is becoming the left leg. So squeeze that hip in already, like you're squeezing a block between the calves and the thigh. Then turn out your right leg. And again, if this is just enough for you to just lightly touch the toes on the floor, stay there. If you want to go a little farther, take the heel or bottom of the foot to the calf. Those of you who are feeling more balanced, you can take your foot all the way up and then palms together in front. And then taking the arms out to shoulder level. Squeeze in the standing leg hip. Draw the navel back, shoulders down. Inhale, bring the arms up. Feel strong and stable in the core of your lower leg and in the core of your thigh and in the core of your pelvis and your belly and your upper back and neck. And then bring the arms to shoulder level. And then draw the palms together and release the standing leg. Nice trees today. Very nice trees. Yes, and I like what Leora's doing. She's doing a little wiggle because we just used that core. Feel free to wiggle. Or, you know, if you even want to, you can go back to your chair and wiggle like this. Because when you're doing all that squeezing, you have to counterbalance it with a little wiggle. We were squeezing blocks, squeezing at the navel. Okay. And then let's come down onto the floor. We're going to come onto your backs. So you're going to have to adjust your cameras again, probably. Just come onto your backs. And in that same vein of wiggling out all the squeezing, when you're on your backs, you're going to roll the knees in towards each other and away from each other. So getting a little bit of that both directions, easing up the hips. Good. And then we've just been using our core muscles really strongly during all of that practice. And so doing a little twist in the middle. So if you take your left leg and put it over your right leg, so the back of the thigh is up to the front thigh. And your arms out to the side at shoulder level. You're going to roll to the right. Keep your left shoulder down, inhale, and as you exhale, roll your legs and hips over to the right. And your head can roll to the left. And then inhale back up to center again. Head centers as well. And then exhale over to the right and the head rolls to the left. Keep the left shoulder down. You might feel a little bit of a stretch there in the hips from all of that squeezing. Inhale back up. And finally exhale all the way over and just stay for a breath or two into that right hip. Or sorry, your left hip. And allow your shoulders to relax on the floor. And then on your next inhalation, bring your legs back up to center and undo your cross. Let's do the other side so that the right leg is over the left. Arms spread out to the side. Inhale, and as you exhale, roll your legs over to your left. And your head can roll to the right. And then inhale up. Excuse me. And then exhale over to the left and your head rolls to the right. If you feel a stretch there in your outer right hip, inhale back up to center again. And on this last time, coming over to your left side and your head to the right, just stay there for a breath or two, allowing your body to relax in the twist. Your middle body, your upper body, across your chest, across your belly, and the hips. And inhale back up again and undo your cross. Tuck your knees in. Give yourself a little hug around the legs. And maybe even a little rolling around before we go into the resting position. So if you are feeling a little tense in your low back, even after that practice, you can take your legs up onto the seat of the chair. And that's often really actually the best position for a low back that's feeling tense, is to have your legs up on the chair. Or you can have something underneath your knees. And we're laying down in a resting position. Make sure you're comfortable. Quieting your body on the floor. Softening across the face, feeling the floor underneath the back of the head. Relaxing across the forehead, the cheeks. Even the upper palate feels as if it's broadening in the mouth. Softening in your neck. All the work you did in your neck today to hold it steady, keep the head balanced, allow the neck to relax. And then allow that relaxation to come down into the shoulders, backs of the shoulders, across the chest, the collarbones. And then down through the arms, letting your arms completely relax, feeling the floor underneath them, holding them, supporting, all the way to the wrists, backs of the hands and fingers. And then relaxing through the rib cages, the upper back, feeling that support underneath you, allowing your whole chest, rib cage area to relax as you exhale. Softening the lower back on the floor. Feeling that lower back becoming broader. And then across the belly. allowing that area to feel quiet, the gentle rise and fall of the breath. Feel relaxed and spacious in the hips. Just letting that area where the legs come into the pelvis feel very, very quiet, relaxed and loose. And then through the thighs, inner and outer, front and back. And the knees, kneecaps, under the knees, behind the knees. And all the way down through the lower legs, the calf muscles, the shins, inner and outer lower legs, and down to the feet. Feeling the support underneath the heels, allowing the feet to completely relax from the inner arch on both sides, all around the ankles, down through the heels, through the tops of the feet, bottoms of the feet, and then out through the toes. And then slowly waking up your body from the resting position, wiggling your fingers and toes. Bend the knees in towards the chest. When you're ready, roll over to one side, coming out slowly. Gently opening the eyes. Use your arms to push yourselves up to a comfortable sitting position. Sit up tall. And feel your body, your breath, and your mind. Feel any changes from when you entered the class this morning to now. And bring the palms together in a gesture of gratitude. Giving gratitude for your body, your breath, and your mind. And for this practice of yoga that helps integrate all those parts into wholeness and health and happiness. And anything else you'd like to bring into your heart this morning with gratitude. And then gently open your eyes, and the light within me greets the light within you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Llewellyne.
Yeah, I hope that settles well with all of you and helps you in all your activities this week to have that core energy in everything you do.
We're going to be superhuman.
Well, take it easy too.
I really
Thank you.
did get a better sense of the, how to hold it when you're actually moving. So thank you. It was very
Good. Yeah, that'll benefit you for sure. Think about it in everything you do today, especially.
Yeah.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you, Llewellyne.
Bye.
everybody.
Mm.